Hi, thank you for joining me for this video about compiling Delft3D-4. So this is the Delft3D version, version 4, so this is the structured mesh version. And I've had a few requests in the comments of my other videos to do this. But instead of doing the vanilla version of Delft3D here, we're gonna show how to compile the Sandia National Labs modification to Delft3D-4 to include current energy converters, otherwise known as tidal turbines. Yeah, I've updated that code to the latest tag of Delft3D-4, the recommended tag. So effectively they're the same, but you have some extra features with the Sandia code at the moment. So yeah, there's a README again for this process that I've put onto GitHub gist, and I'll put a link to that in the description below, just describing all the steps that we're going to go through. And to summarize, yeah, we're basically going to download the source code again. We're going to make sure we have all the required software. We're going to install that required software. Then we're going to prepare the Delft3D source code for compilation, compile it, integrate that compiled code into the Delft3D-4 GUI, and then we're going to test it using the tests for SNL Delft3D SEC. So yeah, the project that I'm talking about here is this one here. There's a link in the README, SNL Delft3D SEC. Yeah, and like I said, this is for simulating current energy converters in Delft3D in the structured mesh version. And what I've done, this code is quite old, as you can see, but I have recently added a pull request here to upgrade the source code to tag 65936, which is the recommended tag if we look at the Delft3D getting started page. Which is the recommended tag for Delft3D. Let's have a quick look. If we look down here, there we go, 65936. So yeah, you've got a choice. You can either download the code from here, from this repository, and have this current energy converter options, or you can do the same process with the vanilla code. This will work in both, and I'll show you how to download both in the next part of this video. So for downloading the source code, I've created a direct link to the code on the pull request because it can be a little bit tricky to get this pull request code. So there's a zip, and if you click this link here, you'll be able to download that zip directly, and I've already done that. So here it is. So it's about 600 megabytes, and yeah, that's one way of checking out this code, and that gives you the full source code for tag 65936 plus this modifications for the current energy converters. However, you wanted to get the code directly, what I've done is I've made a modification to the SVN helper script that I produced in the last video to make it a little bit more general, so you can pretty much check out any path in the Subversion repository, in the Deltara's Subversion repository. But so you need to have an SVN client installed, like Slick SVN first. So you can check if that's working by, we'll open a PowerShell here. Actually, I want it in administrator mode, so we'll just close this one. I'm working in a Windows virtual machine again. And yeah, we'll be installing using Windows and Intel oneAPI again, just like the previous video, except we're using a different tag of the source code. So yeah, let me just get PowerShell open as an administrator. Here we go. Okay. Maybe I'll give up on this one. Try again. Where were we? Recent. Come on, you can do this. Yep, there we go. Okay. So yeah, if you move to the, I'm going to move to the directory where I've downloaded this code. So yeah, there's a link to download this script. Where are we? Yeah, if you click this, you'll just get the raw helper script, and then you can save it as checkout svn.ps1 wherever you want to save that. And let's just check that svn is installed. So if you just type something like svn-h or something like that, svn-h, yeah, then you'll get the command. So yeah, I've got slick svn client here, which I've linked in here. And now I'm just going to show you how to run this code. I'm not going to actually download it because I'm going to use the SNL Delft3D sec source code instead. And but yeah, you can follow this method if you want. So let's just move my PowerShell to my folder where I'm going to do the compilation. So let's do cd inverted commas. Okay, and then I think you might need a / at the beginning of this. Let's just edit that again. Well, let's try it raw and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to just, this path to Delft3D is going to be something where I want it. Delft3D underscore svn underscore 65. Let's call it the tag name 65936 65936. That, yeah. So yeah, I need to change this. Need to have a / before it. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so this is the path I want to put it on, and then this is the this src flag just tells it this is the address of the tag that I want to download. And it's going to ask me for my username and password. I'm not going to go through that, but this goes through a similar process to the previous one. Once you enter your username and password, it'll just download the code for you. As always, my recommendation is to make copies. So yeah, clearly with a zip, if you just unzip it, you're going to get a copy. If you've done it with SVN, then yeah, I would export that again. Again, in the previous video, you'll see that. I would recommend always doing your compilation on a copy of your source code rather than doing it direct, because sometimes it can be it's difficult to pick it out, and yeah, it's cheaper to make a copy than it is to download it all again. So let's do that. Let's just extract this. Yeah, I assume that most of that is because of I'm doing it in a virtual machine. But I don't know. Fortunately, I have time acceleration on my side, so I won't have taken too long for you. So yeah, I don't want a folder and a folder here, so I'm just going to cut this out of this folder here and pop it here. We'll delete this one. And we'll rename this one. We'll just leave it like this. Okay. So there's the source code. As expected. There are some old binaries here. I wouldn't worry too much about these. We're going to look at the source. So yeah, perfect. That's just what we wanted. And now we can move on to the next step. So the next step of our process here is to make sure we have all the software we need to do the compilation and prepare the source code, and then use the tool. So if we go back to our README, we'll have a look through here. So install Anaconda, that's Python, Visual Studio, Intel Fortran compiler, and Delft3D-4 GUI. So these these first 3 steps, I'm going to skip. You'll find that in the previous video about installing Delft3D FM with Visual Studio and oneAPI. But yeah, I'm just going to do talk about the Delft3D-4 GUI here, which is different. So yeah, we could just check that I have all of these softwares installed. So there's Anaconda, Visual Studio, Visual Studio 2019. There's the Community Edition, and yeah, Intel oneAPI is installed as well. You can check that by opening Visual Studio, when it's ready, and then we just continue without code. And yeah, you see extensions Intel oneAPI. So yeah, those first four bits are done. And there's some instructions here. So you can watch the previous video to see how all of that's that process. Save yourself some time to get that. So let's just talk about the Delft3D-4 GUI. So for Delft3D-4, Deltares provide a graphical user interface free of charge to use with it. And to get that, you go to the Getting Started page, or the Get Started page, which is here. You need to log in, so you need an account, and there's like a login in the top right hand corner. I've already logged in. Once you do log in, this section called Delft3D-4 Graphical User Interface will appear, and then it says how to obtain, and there's a form. So you need to fill out this form and submit it, and then they will send you back a link where you can download the source code for the GUI, and they'll send you a license. You need a license to run it as well. I have that here already. Yeah, I'm literally just going to install it now. It's pretty easy. You need to install a license manager as well. So let's just extract this first. Okay, there we go. And it's extracted to this folder. Okay, so you have individual installers in this folder here, installers, but you also have a sort of catch-all program. So you're going to need a license manager, and yeah, you're going to want to install this OS Delft3D. So let's select the license manager. Okay, just go through the steps. And yes, it says install license file now. So yeah, that's just click this locate license file. I have my license file in the same folder. There we go. Next, and install. And I'm going to finish. And then install OSS Delft3D. You can install these other things as well, but this is the minimum you need to get this to work. Okay, there we go. Done. We don't need this anymore. We can quit. And then Let's just go and look at the desktop, and here is the link. Double click. There we go. Okay, so it's installed correctly. We'll leave it there for now. Okay, so go back to the README. We don't need this or this anymore. So the next job then is to prepare the Visual Studio solutions. So you can't use the Visual Studio solutions. They're not prepared straight away. So we use a Python script to prepare them. There is a Python script that comes with the Delft3D source code, but I've made a modification on that to make it a little bit easier to work with Intel oneAPI. So what we're going to do is just save this Python script into the source code, and then we're going to run it using Anaconda Python, which we assume you have installed. So just click this link, and we'll right click Save As, and here's into the source folder. We'll just make sure we just save this as .py. There we go. Okay, so that's done. So I'm gonna close this PowerShell terminal, and I am gonna open Anaconda PowerShell terminal instead. So here we go, and I'm gonna run this as administrator as well. Okay, so I now have access to the Python interpreter that came with Anaconda as well, so I can run these scripts. So I just have to move to the right directory, which I think is this one here. Just check how our Python script has ended up in the right place. There it is. Oh, that might be me as well. So you could potentially run this one. Anyway, we'll go with the plan. Okay, I need to put inverted commas around that. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to do Python. And I'm going to just tab complete. There we go, till I get the one I want. So prepare SLN auto, hit enter, cross your fingers. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it found Visual Studio 2019, Intel oneAPI version 2021. So, and yeah, it's generated solutions in this source code folder. So we look at that, and there they are. So there's the solution files have appeared. So that's great. So yeah, the next job is to actually do the compilation. So there's a slight difference. We use a different solution file compared to the flexible mesh version, and we need to modify one of the files in the source code as well to get the compilation to work. So let's tell you what's probably easiest. We'll just load it straight from the source folder. So we want Delft3D_open, and yeah, we'll open it with Visual Studio. Okay, there we go. It's opening up. So just look at the README. Right, so what we need to do is modify this nfconfig.inc file and change line 99 to say the following. So let's see, where is the path to that file? Third party open. So third party open, netcdf, netcdff, header files, this one here. So double click it in the Solution Explorer, scroll down to line 99, and yeah, we just change this from undef to define and save it. That's the only modification you should have to make here. finally, we need to change debug to release. We change Win32 to x64. Click on build and build solution. And the build has started. So yeah, if you look at your error list tab, the idea is we have no errors. There's going to be a lot of warnings because it just generates a lot of warnings. And yeah, it'll take a little while. So just be patient while it builds. Okay, so the build has succeeded. We don't have any errors. We have almost 2,500 warnings. I wouldn't worry about that. And we can just check that we have binaries. So if we go back to our source folder and we open, let's see, there should be now a folder called bin. And there we go. Here's all our binaries. So yeah, the compilation has worked. So the next stage is we will get the code we need into the GUI, and we will run a test of SNL Delft3D CEC. Okay, yeah. So the next stage is to test the code that we've compiled. If we go back to our README, we're going to use the SNL Delft3D sec tutorial 1 and tutorial 2 to do this, and the files. So there are links here to download these. This is 2 PDFs, and there's a zip file. I've already downloaded these to this directory called tutorial. So if we open up the tutorial 1 PDF, essentially this is just describing installing the GUI and the executable, but we're going to ignore the executable. We're going to use our own binaries that we just compiled. But yeah, so we really only want this last page 7, which describes how to install the code into the GUI. So what we need to do is find the appropriate folder in the GUI. So let's just get a file explorer. And it's going to be under C drive. Let's try this one. Deltares. Here we go. Delft3D-4 x64. So this is the folder that we need to put our code into. So what we do is we go back to the bin directory. Where are we here? Okay. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, this is our bin x64. So we're going to copy this code over and paste it on top. So if we just select it all and copy, and then go into our folder in the GUI again and paste. And yeah, this just updates the files with our compiled files. I think there are some overwrites which it will probably ask about towards the end. Yes. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we've now installed our compiled files into the GUI. So it's ready to go. It has everything it needs to work. So we don't need this anymore. In theory, we don't need this. I'll just minimize it. Right, so we want to look at tutorial 2 now. And this is going to describe setting up a model. So we'll follow this through. this says describe, open it from the command line. We don't have to do that. We can open it from the desktop. So let's go through that first. See if we can maybe get these together. Let's see, let's minimize this. If that's possible. There we go. I'll bring this down a bit. Let's grab this. This doesn't have to be as big as that. So let's see if we can make this a bit smaller. Yep, there we go. Okay. There we go. So we have them side by side. So let's see. Yeah. Okay, select working directory. So let's click this. Tutorial. Okay. Let's find our tutorial files. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I unzipped this folder, which you get when you download, into this folder called D3D tutorial files, and we have some files in here that have been pre-prepared, so we can take some steps. So let's see, do we have a grid? What does the grid file look like? So yeah, I don't think we have a grid, so we have to add the grid. So let's go grid, let's just follow the steps. RGF grid. Okay, and then we get the RGF grid interface. So we're just going to follow through these instructions here. Okay, so operations, create rectangular or circular grid. So 51, 11, 10, 10, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 5, and 5. Okay, there we go. File, save project as. And then that's, so save it as D3D, so let's do that, D3D. Okay, so, oh, okay. And again, D3D. Okay, so one more. Nope, maybe not. Okay. So then let's close this. We can skip ahead here. We have boundary conditions. We have our curves file. Okay. All right, so let's just try and see if we can, if this is enough to get it to work. Okay, set that, open. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it ran, which is good. So now let's have a look at the outputs. So we'll just follow this through. We close this. So it says select quick pot. So let's do that. Oh. This is the correct version of the MCR. Ah, yeah. So to get QuickPlot to work, we have to install the MATLAB runtime, which I didn't do. So let's quickly go back to our directory here. GUI installers. I'm just going to go direct to get the MATLAB runtime, which is this one. Okay, so yeah, that's done. Just wait for this to clean up. Go, and we'll try this again. So, QuickPlot. Oh no, I do have it. I just installed it. Okay, let's try and boot this again. See if it picks it up this time. Just select the working directory again. This one. Okay. Flow. QuickPlot. Right this time. Okay, there we go. So, file, open file. And we're going to open this trim file. So let's just click the shortcut. Okay. Trim D3D.dat. Open that one. Yeah, let's try velocity. So let's stick this onto velocity. And okay, we're set to 2. It says do, let's see, this is set to magnitude, patches, manual, so this is 0.5 to 1.2. Okay, and let's check that again. There we go. Okay, so yeah, there's the velocity deficit caused by our turbine. So yeah, it's worked fine. And that should give you an introduction to installing Delft3D-4 and preparing and running a little simulation, plotting results. So the next video in this series will look at installing the Linux version of Delft3D using Windows Subsystem for Linux. So we can basically use a Linux distribution right inside Windows, and we can install Delft3D into that distribution. So thank you very much for watching this video, and yeah, hope to see you again for the next one.